Hello, guys. Welcome to Don Wifey Music TV. This is Wilfred here, and your one-stop channel for all things music production, all things vocal analysis, all things vocal coaching. And I'll be sharing quite, a lot with us on this channel. I'd like you to sit tight, and let's get on this journey together. We're going to be learning quite a lot. All right, but before I get into the meat of the matter, I'd like us to, click the bell notification under this video. All right, just click and subscribe to our channel, please. We'll really love so that we can get to. You can get to get more of our videos whenever they drop. Okay. All right. So please subscribe. Thank you very much. Let your friends know. Let them know what's happening. All right. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so we're talking about vocal dynamics. Vocal dynamics is one aspect, of voicing that fascinates me so much. The question you want to ask is, what is vocal dynamics? I'm sure many of you would have heard it before. We say vocal dynamics refers to variations in volume and intensity. There are variations in volume and intensity, all right, during singing. They are crucial for expression, for expressive musical and emotionally resonant performances. Do you understand? Um, your understanding and the controlling of dynamics allows you as a singer to shape phrases, to shape words, to highlight emotion and create contrast when you sing. I tell people that singing is like telling a story, a sweet story. Now, many people sing a particular way and it's boring. For example, you sing like, I love Jesus, I love Jesus, he's my friend, he's my friend. Do you get that? And the tone is just one voice all through. It's boring. People will literally slip off when they hear you sing. So it's important to know how to give perspective, and I'll be explaining all of that. Now, there are different types of vocal dynamics, and they are represented in symbols. There are about 6 basic types. Okay, the first one is pianissimo. Pianissimo is represented by the two abbreviations, by 2 letters, PP, pianissimo, which means very soft, and the next one is P, which is piano. Piano means soft, just soft. Okay, and then mezzo piano, which is MP, means moderately soft. The mezzo there means moderate, moderately soft. And then you have mezzo forte, which means moderately loud. Now, this time it's not loud, moderately loud. And then you have forte, which is represented by by the letter F, abbreviated F, which means loud. So a mezzo forte means moderately loud. Then F, which is forte, means loud. Okay, and then you have FF, which is fortissimo, which means very loud. Now, all these expressions of all these vocal templates are the tools that singers need to be able to pick a song and tell a sweet story with. Tell a beautiful story. But a good number of singers don't know. I would like to put up a video, that will, that will help to express. So let me explain something about how vocal dynamics applies to singing. Okay. Now, how does it apply to singing? Vocal dynamics helps for expression of emotions. Okay. Now, in that expression of emotions, you have soft dynamics. The soft dynamics appear in pianissimo, which is the PP, which is very soft, and then piano. You might want to add mezzo piano, Okay, soft dynamics. They just come in soft in those areas, right? Soft doesn't necessarily mean breathy. It just means it's not intense. Intensity is not okay. Then there's loud dynamics. Loud dynamics are like forte, forte, which is loud, and then fortissimo, which is very loud. Those are the loud dynamics. Those ones come in they express emotions, they express passion, they express anger, they express intensity, joy, excitement. While the soft dynamics expresses vulnerability, it conveys vulnerability, it conveys sadness, it conveys tenderness, you know intimacy, all of that. That's how music is about trying to paint a good drawing, trying to get a sweet, good story. That's singing. But a lot of singers don't catch that. They just think it's about the fine voice. It's not enough to just have a fine voice. It's about knowing how to use that voice to communicate. And that's what I'm going to be using this episode of this whole, to communicate. Another thing that um, vocal dynamics helps us to do. It helps us to create musical contrast. You know, dynamics, how do I put this now? Dynamics shifts, dynamic shift in singing, okay, prevents monotony and keeps the audience engaged. How do I mean? You can be singing a phrase and then there's a shift in the dynamics. You were very soft before all of a sudden you move loud. That's a shift. It creates for it helps to take away monotony. You know what I mean monotony? Monotony is one sound. I was singing, I love Jesus, I love Jesus, he's my friend, he's my friend, I will never leave him. That's one straight tone. Okay? He's my friend, he's my friend. It's boring, but I can sing, I love Jesus, I love Jesus, he's my friend. I can add in a lot of embellishment that will make the music interesting. All right. So these are things we need to think about as singers to be able to help, you know, tell a good story. Another thing about dynamics, why it's important again is that it helps to shape musical phrases. Singers, use dynamics as a way to sculpt, for me, my language, sculpt phrases, you know, um, highlighting tension and release. You know, you use you use dynamics to be able to, you know, build the music. You know, you use it to build the music. You grow the music. If you listen to lots of musical theater, you see how they start, and then looking quite conversational in the speech, and then they start, and then it's looking at the just talk, and also there's just a pivot from something low energy to high energy, and that's how you know that's how singing should be. There should be transition, there should be suspense, you know, and all of that. So in classical music is characterized by those kind of things. You see that in classical music, you see that in musical theater. Okay. Then another thing about dynamics, what it does to music again is that it helps for genre um, and stylistic authenticity. So how do I mean? Each genre has its own dynamic norm. Okay, each genre has its own dynamic norm. You know, you not every music has the same pattern, and I'll explain this much later. You know, each has the way musical theater and classical music approach dynamics is different from the way pop CCM kind of music approach music. It's different from the way rock metal music approach dynamics. Totally different. Okay, because if you just use any kind of dynamics for any song, you spoil the song. So those are the things you need to understand about singing. um I'm still trying to get the video out so that I can, you know, um, communicate Yeah, the video is here. Now, but let me explain the different genres of music relative to the dynamics so that if you're a classical singer listening to me, you know what kind of dynamics you can apply. Now, for classical singers, musical theater kind of singers, the because of how stretchy their kind of music is, their kind of music requires dynamic mastery. So what it means is that you must know how to use all the whole six masteries from pianissimo to mezzo piano to mezzo forte to fortissimo. You must know how to use all. So musical theater singers and classical singers use pianissimo down to fortissimo perfectly well. Okay, if you don't know it, you have to know it. So master it. Okay. To some extent, classical music pianissimo to fortissimo. Musical theater maybe mezzo piano to fortissimo. Because sometimes it's not all parts of musical theater that does pianissimo or even piano. Okay, but mezzo piano down to fortissimo, you can catch musical theater. Listen to Beauty and the Beast. Listen to is it Wizard of Oz? Wizard of Oz. You know, there's this lady Cynthia Erivo. If you watch that video movie, and then listen to the albums, listen to the tracks on that movie, you will see how musical theater is created. You know, that's how the ideas are. And then you have pop music. Pop music, I'm going to categorize pop music and CCM. CCM is gospel. Okay, CCM is like the Maverick City, the Elevation music, and all of that kind of music. Those kind of sounds and pop music, the Beyoncé's, the Adele's, the I mean, all the great singers you know, the Whitney's, and all of that. They thrive more from mezzo piano to fortissimo as well. Okay, and then jazz music. Jazz music does is not fast stretch. It's not too fast stretch per se. Jazz music does piano, which is soft, and piano, mezzo piano, and then mezzo forte. Basically, they just work because jazz music is not so intense in terms of vocal expression. It's not so intense. It's just a bit mild, not too hard. It doesn't even get into loud. It's just it's the style of music. And then we go into rock and metal kind of music. Rock and metal kind of music, there's no guessing about it. It is forte, which is loud, and fortissimo, which is very loud. That's the style. Except maybe soft rock. Then maybe you want to add mezzo piano. But most often than not, rock music and metal music, their dynamics, the kind of dynamics they are applying their songs are are forte, which is loud, and fortissimo, which is very loud. Okay, and then you have R&B and soul. Yeah, I almost forgot that R&B and soul try between piano to fortissimo too. You know, R&B is quite open. You know, it has that soulish, soft side to it. So that's why it can get into soft, which is the piano and mezzo piano, and then mezzo forte, like that down to fortissimo. You know, you have those kind of styles there, reaching out there, and then you have folk music, piano to mezzo forte. It's not so intense. You don't even get it into um, kind of ballads. You don't get them into forte. You know, so just basically, you know, the styles that we have in general in expressing vocal dynamics. Okay, these are the styles in expressing vocal dynamics. you know um Classical music expresses requires that mastery, so that's why it requires, it does um, pianissimo to fortissimo. Musical theater is quite dramatic. It's dramatic storytelling kind of pieces that they do. So it doesn't require too much of fortissimo, pianissimo, and piano. It does more from mezzo piano down to fortissimo. Okay, and then pop kind of music, CCM, gospel is more the production affects the perception. The production affects the production. sorry, the production affects the the production, the perception. So how the music is perceived, it depends on what the producer has in mind in such kind of music. But usually they try from mezzo piano to fortissimo. Jazz music is quite nuance based, mic dependent. Sometimes the way you're using your mic control, depends. Rock music, metal music, they do more of fourth to fortissimo, and it's intense. It's intense driven. Intensity is high. R&B music is emotional. Emotional swells, piano to fortissimo, that's the range. Okay. Folk music is basically more intimate and natural, with a natural delivery. It's from piano to mezzo forte, which is moderately loud. All right. So your understanding of all of these things, how to apply all of these things at intervals, will determine how great an artist you are, how great a singer you are. And I always encourage you singers, please don't rush the song. Take your time to listen to songs. Take time to understand textures. Take your time to understand what is soft, what is hard, what is loud, what is bright, what is dull. Understand all of these textures so that you can be able to apply yourself when necessary. If you need to do musical theater, you know how to approach it. If you need to do CCM, you know how to approach it. The different dynamic interplay. Study these dynamics, and then you see yourself. I think my video is ready. So I'm going to play about two videos for you. One is by um, some lady by Yolanda Adams. It's titled "Still Arise." But this I'm going to be playing the cover, which was done by Stephanie Ferret. Stephanie Ferret did the cover, and I like the way she approached it. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to play another song by Adele called "Someone Like You." I'm going to use it to kind of teach and explain to us how this thing works. All right, so let's get straight into our video, Still Arise by Stephanie Ferret, which was originally done by Yolanda Adams.
Shattered, but I'm not broken.
So let's go there again now. So she said, shattered. She started soft. In fact, I want to think that she started from pianissimo. But I'm not, but I'm not. She probably went to mezzo forte and transcended back to mezzo piano, or call it piano. Okay? Broken. She did it twice. Listen.
Shattered, but I'm not broken.
That's mezzo forte came down to piano.
Wounded,
pianissimo.
but time will heal.
So you can see that, but time will heal. You can see that the volume pushes up. And when the volume pushes up, you're more or less looking at around pianissimo to mezzo piano to mezzo forte, and then back to piano. Da, 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 da. Volume goes up, then comes back again. She would have gone broken, but she did broken. Now you see the shape of her mouth. It curbs the intensity, because right now she's not ready to move. She's not got into the chorus. Most often than not, the chorus usually highlights the intensity more at fourth, which is loud. But now she's still building in the verse. So she'll be dwindling between piano to mezzo forte, and then back to piano, around that region, depending on the kind of song. So listen up.
Heavy the load,
Heavy the Lord, heavy. So it's like mezzo piano is not mezzo forte. Mezzo piano, which is moderately soft, is not soft, moderately soft. Then she goes, hear this.
the cross.
Soft, mezzo soft.
I bear.
Back to soft, mezzo soft, then back to soft. Back to piano, alright?
How lonely the road I to run.
So mezzo piano, back to piano. See that?
I dare shaking.
Down to
but
check
here
pianissimo.
I stand.
So you can see that she has increased her intensity. Stand. She has entered mezzo forte. Stand. When volume is pushing up, you're thinking more mezzo forte. Now, because now she's trying to prepare for the chorus, so she has to gradually begin to push the music because she has to create that build. Now you can see that singing is like you're telling a story. You're building tension, you're building the energy gradually because you are going somewhere with the music. Listen.
Weary, still I press on. Long are the nights, the tears I
Soft piano.
cry. Dark are the days,
Mezzo
no
piano. Mezzo
sun
forte.
in the sky.
Mezzo forte. She's preparing to go the chorus now. Yes, still arise.
Yet still
Mezzo forte. Mezzo piano.
I
She has entered forte now. Intensity is
rise,
stronger.
never to give
Can you see that intensity is stronger?
up, never to give in.
All right, so can you see that? You can see how she's building the song. You can see how she's building the energy. She's building it. She's not allowing it to calm down. She's pushing. Do you get the whole picture? That's how it works. All right. Now let's quickly play the Adele piece. So Adele, someone like you. Sorry. Again. This is pianissimo.
That you settle down, that you
Okay.
found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things
Pianissimo. She's trading between pianissimo
I
and piano.
didn't give to you. Old friend, why are you so shy?
Right?
Ain't like you.
She's very low. She's building it. It's gradual. She's very low.
From the light.
Soft. Pianissimo.
Hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over.
She's building into the chorus now. Here it is.
Never mind, I'll find
This is mezzo forte.
someone like you.
It's intensity.
I wish nothing but the best.
Mezzo forte. Mezzo
for
3
you
loud.
too.
She's going to go up now.
Don't forget me.
She's now in forte.
I
Can you see the intensity?
remember you said,
Can you see that?
sometimes it lasts and loves, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts and loves, but
So mezzo forte.
sometimes it hurts
And she's gone back to mezzo piano and then back to piano. Now, do you see how this thing works? This is singing. Now, so next time you pick up a next song, please sit down. Don't be in a hurry. I like to do what we call markings. Sit down and analyze a song. Understand the dynamics. Understand the intensities. All right. Okay, I'm going to approach this song this way. I'm going to approach this song that way. That is how singing is done. That is how vocal athletes function. You don't just rush a song. All right. So I hope all of this makes sense. All right. Please go over this over and over again. If you don't understand, keep watching it and watching it and watching it. I hope this will make sense to you eventually. All right. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Click the bell notification button. Share with your friends. Let them understand and share the same ideas with them. Let them understand what you're also learning All right. The next video I will do after this would be dynamics for choirs and singing groups. We'll explore a lot more concepts and all of that. Now, if you also want to train with me, you can click a link below this video to take you, and then you can chat with me, and then we're going to talk about how we can schedule a program that will help you build on this technique I've just shared with you. All right. All right. So have a fantastic day. Take care. Cheers. Bye.